Check, check, check. Can you hear me now? Hello, hello, hello. Waiting for a feedback on this. No audio still. Let me know if you can hear me. No sound again. Okay, we do have sound? Yes, okay. Hello, all right. Okay, so let's start that over again. Hi everybody, how's it going? Welcome to your Photoshop Creative Challenge. My name is Wade Acuff. I've been your host all week. I'll be your host all next week. If you want more challenges, you can find a link in the description below. You will also find a link to our Discord. If you want to get feedback for these challenges, just hop into our Discord at bit.ly/psdiscord. You'll also find a starter file for today's challenge. But first, hey chat, thanks for letting me know about the audio. But more importantly, do you know what today is? I know I asked this question yesterday, but does everyone know what today is? If you knew what yesterday was, you probably know what today is. And we're going to go with the theme. That's right. It's Revenge of the 5th. So we're going to do a little bit more Star Wars-y theme stuff. Go faster, make up for the lost minute. Yeah. No, we're good. Also, if you have any questions as we go, let me know in the chat. I'll try to keep up with it. Yeah, it's also Cinco de Mayo, but we're going to go with Revenge of the 5th. Let's jump into what we're going to do. We're going to make a poster. Let's see. We're going to make a custom LUT, create a custom lookup table. Lookup should be one word. And apply the LUT to make a unique photo collage poster design. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use a LUT to kind of help marry our collage images to make them, feel like they're all part of the same image. A little bit of compositing. But first, we need to talk about what a LUT is. Well, boiling it down, a LUT is a grid of values that can help you adjust an image's color or contrast. I was first introduced to LUTs through color grading, film and video. That's sort of how most people use it. Today we're going to use it as a filter. But the unique thing about a LUT is you are making a file that you can now take to other programs, After Effects, Premiere, other programs outside of the Adobe sphere, because you're making a LUT. Say you have a look, a specific look you're dialing in for, changing all the colors and everything for a group of photos or whatever it might be. You can now send that file to someone else with the photos and say, hey, here's your base. Start from this. This is what this project should look like. So that's one way you can use a LUT. But let's stop talking and get to it because, wait. Because there's a LUT to talk about. I'm sorry, it hurts me too. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to make a little file here, new. This is going to be a poster, 11 by 17 vertical, 300 DPI. And the first thing we're going to do, we're making a poster. So here's, it's a movie concept. A true Star Wars fashion. It's we're making a rom-com. We're making a rom-com. Star Wars rom-com. We're going to use some files from stock.adobe.com/free because that's the place to be. Smart objects, yes, that's fine. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and scale this up. Let's see, was it Control T? Scaling this up. Place it in the center. I'm going to get rid of our background layer. And to make a LUT, all you have to do is start changing, adding adjustment layers. And I think I'm going to add a curves to this first. So I kind of want this to be, hello? Did I pop that out? There we go. All right, I want this, I'm just going to kind of give us a little S curve, bring up the highlights a little bit, not that much. Drop this down. We're kind of losing her cape or robe already, so I don't want to do too much of that. But I do want my touchstone look for this is kind of like a Rogue One-esque. No, we're working RGB. You can make LUTs for CMYK and other color profiles. But I'm going to pull this down. The Rogue One look is sort of where it's just kind of a blue tone. And I'm just gonna mess with the reds a little bit. I think I'm gonna leave that there and move over to, what do I wanna do here? Color balance. And then we're gonna add some cyan to this. And again, this is not a compositing stream necessarily. It's just showing you how to make and use a LUT. So there is that. I do want to bring the saturation down because I'm looking for a little bit more pale skin, and maybe just add a touch of green. Okay, so let's say that's what we want for our photo. Our photo is it's dialed in. This is kind of what we're looking for. It's real easy to make a LUT. You come over here, go to File, Export, come down to Color Lookup Tables. Uh-oh, we have an error. What has happened? Could not export color lookup tables because this document has no background. Okay, apparently we're required to have a background. So let's say we add a new layer. I'm just going to drag it down here. Press Shift F5 to just make a white fill. And let's try it again. Export. Color lookup table. Whoa, same thing. We've got an issue. It's because this isn't labeled as a background, so you have to make sure Photoshop knows that is the background. So if you go over to Layer, New, Background from Layer, it now designates it as a background. Plus, we want to turn off the image. We just want to have the color adjustments. And then go back to Export, Color Lookup Tables, and look, we have a menu. It lets you give a description for this where you could just actually put in like, hey, it brings up, it makes a pale skin tone, or it brings up the reds or whatever. Because this is not the name of the LUT, this is just a description. We have no copyright, so we're not going to copyright any of this. So moving on to quality, we have grid points. And so there's a grid, it is true what this says. Quality, the more grid points you have, the more information your LUT will have. It doesn't necessarily mean the better it's going to be. Quality doesn't really necessarily mean better. It just means there's more information along the way. And the best way I've heard this explained is if you have a point A, if you have a map, and you have a point A to point B, and you take a flight, you have basically straight from point A to point B, that's a lower grid point. Basically, there's 2 points you're going to. That's it. If you increase the grid points to 64 or whatever the next sets are, it's like taking a road trip. So now you have a lot of information between point A and point B. And that can make or break a LUT. We won't have any issues with it for that. But if you apply a LUT, sometimes you'll notice like, why is this banding? And you may think, oh, my footage isn't the right bit depth or something is causing the banding. But it's probably just your LUT, if your LUT is not dialed in for that specific image. We're not getting into any of that, so don't worry about that. I just wanted to explain what this grid point issue was. We have different formats here. 3DL and Cube are essentially the same. They're different formats, but they're only different in the fact that some programs will accept cube formats, but they don't accept 3DL. But essentially all the information is the same. CSP is a specific to CineSpace LUT. I think it's sort of the same thing. Some places will accept them, some will not. The ICC, I find this one to be really interesting. You can make your own ICC profile. Stands for International Color Consortium. And you can apply that if you want to adjust your monitors and everything to a specific LUT. Have that color profile ready for you. You can dial it into your camera. It's all right there. You can make your own profile. It's pretty cool. But for our purposes, we're going to leave everything at, I think when you open this, originally, all of these are turned on, but all you really need is the cube. I think that's correct. I'm going to click OK. It's going to ask me where to save it. I'm going to name this Rogu. Click Save. It's going to do its thing. And then, for comparison's sake, Let's see, let's hide this. Let's bring in our LUT. If you come down here to adjustments, color lookup, gives you option here. You can bring in, you have all these defaults, but you can load the 3D LUT. In this case, it's a cube. And we just load it up. Let's have it off first, but then let's you know what, before we got, these are all the original color adjustments. I'm going to put these in a folder, turn that off. So this is what we started out with. This is our LUT applied. Let's make a duplicate. I'm just going to come down here into history and make a new document from this so that we can see these side by side appropriately. So over here, I'm going to choose the original group. So you'll notice this is our group with all of our contrast, curves, color balance, and hue saturation applied. And then over on this file, we have just our one color lookup that does all the heavy lifting for us. As a bonus, you can, let's see, let's go ahead and get rid of this. Let's see, yes, nope, don't want to save that, sorry, no. You can start with a color lookup. Let's go back into this, turn it on. If we don't want to use the one we have, we want to start with, you know, candlelight, something that's pre-built. You can start there and then start adding color balance and start shifting things around however you see fit. And when you make the LUT, it will include the other LUT. So all you're doing is recording, like I said, a grid of values that tells you how the image should be adjusted. So you can start from a base of somebody else's LUT that they sent you, and then you can make your own LUT based off of that. Anyway, now we got to get to designing this poster and seeing if we can make things work for us. I'm going to turn everything off. I'm going to throw this away. We're going to use the LUT that we made. So let's, we'll bring it back in at the end and see how it all works out. Okay, first thing I want to do with this is select subject. And so let's talk about the poster concept. It's a concept, all right? It's a rom-com. I'm just gonna select these and then apply masks to the selection. Again, this is gonna be very quick and dirty, just so that, you know, we can get through it. The idea is that it's a story. It's a story of two double agents that they don't know that they're double agents. And they're both working, let's see, select subject. So the idea is both looking to weaponize a sleeper droid, L42. They're going to weaponize him with specialized pew-pew lasers. That's the plan. And then the tagline is something like, what they thought would lead to a rebel surrender would only lead them to surrender their hearts. That's the rom-com. Surrender their hearts to each other, of course. I'm going to scale this guy up a little bit here. And then we have to add, you have to have a background that's like, you know, some kind of desolate. I guess it didn't have to be desolate, but in this case, you know, almost like a Tatooine-ish situation. I'm going to scale that up slightly. Control Command T just to scale it up. And then I'm going to add a mask to this. And then come over here to gradient. Make sure we're selected on our mask. This is a black and white gradient, as you can see here. And I believe I'm just going to make this fade off to the top. That was fine. That was fine. Maybe a little bit, start to fade a little bit earlier. Yeah, something like that. The tagline gave me diabetes. Yes, it's too sweet. It's too sweet, right? Well, that's the trick. That's the real trick with this one. Okay, what do we got to hit? Oh, speaking of tricks, if you want something to look sci-fi, just add some nice architecture detail. That's all I'm doing here. I'm grabbing this and we've got some abstract architecture detail that's just going to play a little role of like focusing in on the top center of this image. And look at that, brilliant. I am going to put it down behind our background so it kind of fades into the back. But yes, they are both weaponizing L42, and the name of the movie, of course, is called Lasers for Two. So it all comes together, right? I'm telling you, I know there's like, unfortunately, there's a writer's strike going on right now, but hey, contact your boy if you need help. So we've got lasers for two. We're missing L42. We're missing the droid. So we're going to take a minute, a quick minute, and paint in. That's right, paint in. You can go and find stock photos or whatever for this, for a droid if you'd like. But I'm just going to paint in a silhouette of a droid. The aforementioned L42. I think I'm going to bump these down a little bit. Yeah. Bump this down just a little bit. All right, now we have our layer, and we're just going to paint this in. Obviously, if painting is not your thing, you can go and grab, you know, photos from stock photo anywhere. But what taglines do you guys? What do you? I think the onlines, the let's see, learning to do these things. I'm just reading chat real quick. So this is sort of like, I guess it's armless. I guess the bot would be not have any arms, because that's where the pew pew lasers are coming into. I think that might be the idea. Maybe we have a spot for an arm. I don't know. Something hanging out here. I'm not going to be super crisp or super detailed with this. I'm just going to try and make it look like it sort of belongs in the area of where this might work. Add a couple of panels on the front. Again, it's a concept piece. It's a concept. This is just for the pitch. This is just for the pitch. You know, have a little custom dialed in sketch, you know, come on. See what chat has to say. Now, I do always have to add, for anything I do, I pretty much have to, I think it's required that I add in some little antennae of some sort. I can't not have them in there, so something like that. And then maybe we'll get rid of them a little bit. All right, something like this. Let's see, maybe there's like a little bit of a highlight here, something more up here. Just going to draw in some of these panels. You know, Star Wars loves to have their little greebles, little panels of everything hanging out. We'll put a few lights on this and we'll call it done. Ooh, I didn't think about. Nah, we got to keep it red, right? We got to keep with the theme, the kind of you know, Sith, evil, whatever. Little beep boop lights. Okay, cool. We've got something. You know, grand, no, maybe not, but fun, hopefully. Add Luthen from Andor, please. He's awesome. Yes, yes. If you're sleeping on Andor, that's the wrong thing to be sleeping on, by the way. It's good stuff. All right, so we're going to call that done. We can, from this point, we can apply our LUT. Let's see what it looks like. This is the moment. This is the moment. So we've got our lookup table from earlier. It's sitting on top of everything. Let's see. Oh, that is not the lookup table from earlier. That is the one we brought in. But let's bring in our LUT. Just coming up. If you didn't see that, that's just me clicking into the file, load 3D LUT, back to our rogue, load that in, and look at that. Now, a couple of things here. I want to pull out the title. I did not mean to put it in the group. There we go. Make sure the red's popping. I'd probably do a little layer of, bring out the red. It may be a little dark. So again, this is just to start the process of dialing this in. Let me come in here, and I do want to fade that out a little bit at the top. And then on our LUT, we can start bringing this in just to maybe bring back a little bit more color. It's pretty dark. I don't mind it. I may even come in here and go to our I'll name this L42. So that's the real revenge of the 5th. The fact that we made a rom-com, which was bad enough, and then what happened in the middle of the rom-com? It turned into a drom-com. It made me feel the feels. That was the real betrayal. That's the real revenge right there. I went in for laughs, and then the tears just started. That's the real revenge of the 5th right there. But let's add some curves to this L42. I'm going to bring up the highlights a little bit. Actually, could bring up the dark just a tiny bit. Sure, why not? Drop that down slightly. Anyway, that is kind of how I would finish this. Again, this is a starting point. Wouldn't call this complete at all. But good start. Another thing I want to mention about using LUTs, and this is kind of just a shout out to Jesus Ramirez. Has a fun tutorial about how to use, if you're a streamer, and even if you're not, but you use streaming software. If anybody that has Zoom calls and whatever, you can make virtual cameras in your streaming app or streaming software, and apply a LUT to your streaming, to that virtual camera. So that's another way to use a LUT. There's other ways too, I'm sure, but I was just saying that was a really good one. I had to shout that out once I saw it. But I think that is going to do it. Let's take a look one last time. This is what we came up with. We applied a LUT. This is the recap portion. We applied a LUT to this. I hope you guys figure out ways to use this for the challenge. Just make a poster design of a collage of images, different photos. You can spend as much time as you want to compositing, but just making sure you know how to make a LUT and how to apply a LUT was really the point of all of this. I hope you guys have a great rest of the day, rest of Revenge of the 5th. We've got Tyler Pate coming up next with the Illustrator Creative Challenge. And get your challenges into the Discord. I'll be checking them all week. We'll be back next week as well. So there's plenty of time to keep doing these challenges. And we're gonna see everybody real soon, hopefully next week. All right, take care everybody. Have a good one. Bye.